Hey everyone, today I want to show you so amazing modeling techniques in Plasticity. So I found this really beautiful faucet or handle, I don't know how it's called in English. And yeah, it's just so beautiful to create this kind of organic forms mixed in with hard, sharp edges. And yeah, I don't know guys, it looks really beautiful. And I will show you this modeling technique called surface modeling. And this is by far the most powerful, best modeling technique in Plasticity. So you literally can model everything and it's always the same process. So we will go over everything step by step in a minute, but I just wanted to show you that as always with this technique, we will just create some basic curves, which will kind of represent our model, right? So if we mirror that over, and then we will just fill in all of the gaps with surfaces. And this is such a universal, powerful technique because it's the exact same technique how I modeled this car. So you see also here on the product page that we start with the curves and then we will fill in, and in the end, yeah, you will get this car. Then also you can use it for motorcycles and yeah, something like helmet design. So if you want to learn how to model more complex detailed objects, check out first link in the description. Also, I have at the moment our summer sale where you can save up to 70% on the course bundles. So first link in the description. But in this tutorial, let's tackle this faucet, and I just want to show you the beauty of this modeling technique. So let's create a new file. And if you're new to Plasticity and you want to follow along, you can just go here to plasticity.xyz and just download and test it. But this tutorial is not for absolute beginners. So check out some of my other free tutorials on my YouTube channel. I have a lot for beginners. So what we want to do is we want to go to this page here and just make a screenshot or download this image. Link in the description as well from that reference. And I'm using here a program called PureRef. You can just drag and drop that image here to that program, so it will always stay on top. And I didn't find images from the left, top or right. It's always with an angle. So we have to improvise a little bit, but that makes it a lot of fun and just a good practice to understand form and shape. So before we also start modeling, let me just break the shape down, because every shape in this world you can break down into curves or something, right? So let me just draw you. And by the way, this program is called Epic Pen. I don't know, I'm just using this for tutorials, but if you want. So if we check out here this main shape, we have at the top here a circular shape, right? Then you see we have here a hard edge which goes somewhere here. Then we have on the right this edge and another edge which gives us this organic feel. And obviously here also at the bottom kind of it will be a triangle and also a connecting line here. So we will exactly do that. So this is also what I teach always in my courses. Just observe the product that you want to create the curves. So even paint it as a practice. And once we have that, we can start to fill in all of the surfaces. And that's why this technique is called surface modeling. And again, that's the most powerful, most versatile modeling technique in Plasticity. So let's start, and let me just adjust everything. And it's a lot of stuff here on the screen, but it's just better for you. So let's go to the object mode. Let's delete our cube. And first of all, let's start with this top piece here. So let's go to the top view and we want to recreate that. So we will just take a line and we will take the control point curve. So not the spline curve, the control point curve. And we will start just here in the origin. And the first point, very important, you have to drag out here on the y-axis because we will mirror it over. We need tangency. So not to go too deep into that because then it will take too long, but it will make sense in a second. or let me go down, so something like that, maybe one more point, 1 point here, and again the last point you have to snap here, so not here, not here, so exactly here on the intersection, right? So we have this X shape here, and if you press 1 you can just adjust the points, and again don't just adjust this point like that. Take this point, so select it, and with G move command just drag it up or down, so you always stay here on the same axis. And this point you can just adjust, so something like that, and maybe this one here. And again, so right now something like that should be fine. Press 2, curve mode or edge mode, select this curve, Alt X, and bring it here to the other side. And I think I like this shape, but maybe we can just take those 2 points with G, just bring them up a little bit. Okay, so select it, Alt X, mirrored it over, perfect. So now we can go to the front view, so we look from the side to that, and let's create here this right boundary kind of, again, control point curve. And we will snap it to this point, and we will create 1 point here a little bit inside, so it has just a little bit of a nice rounding, so something like that. All right, so we have, so something like that. Again, and maybe bring this point a little bit down, so something like that. Perfect. So now let's create this line here. And here it's super important that at this point, let me take the blue one. So when we create the curve, so this curve is kind of 3D, right? So so you see this curve will create like a 3D shape, right? So we have to use work in space. But at this point here, we need G1. So again, we need 2 points on the same plane, because we will mirror that later over. And that doesn't make sense. But so at this point it will be tangent, because again, we will just work with 1/2. But again, so if that doesn't make sense for you at the moment, just follow along. Once we are at that point, everything will make sense. So I will explain it to you. So we will go to the top view, and we will again control point curve, and I don't know, somewhere here, I think. And this point, again, you have to drag that out on the y-axis. So something like that. And now we have to create a few points and end somewhere here, right? So it's very hard to explain, but just create a few points. So something like that, okay? And now we have to align all of those points, or use those points and create the correct 3D shapes, more or less as good as we can. So let's start with the last point. Select this, press G, and drag it down, and control click to this point, because then it will be on the same, plane, right? So as we have also here the bottom, so that looks fine. And very important, don't touch this point, but all of those other points in between we can tweak. So let's just start and drag those points, and make sure that you drag the points from the curve, not from those other curves. And let's try to adjust the shape, so something like that. And also I just want to select this point, press G, and just bring it a little bit to the front. Because you don't see it here, but we have also a little bit of of some surface here in the back. So we have to give it here a little bit of space. And I will just adjust that shape here. And maybe I will bring all of those points a little bit closer, so it's not too thick. So it's just a little bit more aesthetic. So and I don't need this point, so I will just select it, press X, delete it, and I will just take this point, and with G just bring this out a little bit, and still it has to be on the same plane, and something like that. And again, it's very just eyeballing, right? So obviously it would be better if you find some other images which are kind of looking straight on the image. But again, it's just a very, very, very good practice to practice form and shape and on your understanding of 3D space. So I think this looks very nice. And again, just one more tip. So you see we have this curve and it just has, and you see, and also here we have this curve, right? It's just nice or good to have a nice flow kind of, right? So don't do something like that, right? So here you see we have a nice flow, but here it gets too sharp. So it's anyway not what we have here in our reference image, but just practice here to create nice, flowy, beautiful curves. Okay, so we have here our endpoints. Now let's just create this shape here at the top. And for that, again, we go to this view. And, or wait, before we go, again, just, we can even create a line and just snap from here to here. And now, so you also see we have here a little bit of a curvature. So let's select this line and press Shift S to add one more point, and once more Shift S, so to subdivide it or raise degree. And now we go to the front view and let's adjust the points a little bit. So I want this point go a little bit up and this point go a little bit down. Okay, so you see we have a little bit of a nice flow, as we probably also have here. Okay, so now the last thing that's left is here our main line, which will be also a boundary once again. And for that we can go again to the front view here and again control point curve and snap to this point. And again, let's just create a few points. And the last one must be again on the same height. So before you click on that, go here and press Shift. So you have your construction lines, and here you can just snap here, right click. So we have something like that, right? So, and again, press 1 and let's adjust everything. And again, this point, because you see it's, and this point again must be, so in this case, it doesn't have to be, but it gives us a better surface. So it has to be on the same plane kind of, because this is the end. So it's always better if it ends kind of tangent to the middle point. And so something like that. And I will just adjust everything a little bit. So something like that, right? Again, just keep the flow of the curve nice and smooth. And let's maybe adjust it. So something like that. And just, you can also select those two curves or even just this curve, because those others in the middle. Press Alt X and bring it to the other side. So you can just check out the whole shape. And I think this looks very good. Okay, so we have created our curves. And now let's start with filling in the surfaces, right? That's why surface modeling, it's called this technique. And again, let me just paint it for you, for those who are new. So we have our curves. So let me just again quickly draw them like that. And now what we want to do is, because you see the shape, it has at a lot of areas a very flat kind of surface, right? And here we have some rounding in the middle, and here in the front area we have some rounding, right? So what we want to do is, okay, wait, so let me also print those ones. So and here it's also round, right? But here it's flat, and here in the middle it's flat. So what we will do is, we will just create again 2 more curves, just to further break down the shape and create here some curves. Why? Because then I will use purple for surfaces. We will start to create our first surface. Then we will close this surface here and this surface here, right? So you see our handle comes into shape. And once we have here our flat surfaces, so our primary surfaces, so it's literally exactly the same as in my car modeling course. We start with the big flat surfaces and then we fill in the gaps. and those gaps will be then here, and then also here and here. And that's basically it. So it's literally just, 3 steps. So step 1 is creating the curves. Second step is kind of the main or flat surfaces. The 3 is kind of then secondary surfaces or the curved ones. And then as an additional 4th part is blending them or adding fillets, so make everything smooth, right? So it's literally a 4-step formula for literally every product design 3D model there is in Plasticity, whether it's small or big. All right, so let's start with the bottom here. And before we do that, we have to press 2, edge mode, select those 2 edges. And because they are in the middle, we have to extrude them, and we have to create, it's called support surfaces. Because again, let's show me that first and then it will make sense. So select both, press E, and you should be able to extrude them here. So it doesn't matter how long they are, but I just like them to extrude this something like that. And now again, extremely important, select again both of those curves and hide them. So just press H. So those 2 curves are now hidden. So now you see we just have a black edge from that surface, because we will use those edges which have the information from this surface, which we will mirror over, and then we can create tangency. So let's create the bottom here. Control point curve and just snap to this endpoint, and again snap it first here that it's straight, right? So on the y-axis, so something like that. And then the second point you can snap here, right click, and you can just go to the top view and just check if you like the shape. I want it a little bit rounder, so I will just select this point with G, and again just on the y-axis. So just in those directions, you can adjust that point. And I really like this curve. And let's do the bottom. Again, control point curve, snap to the surface, drag once out on the y-axis, and then you can snap here, right click, top view. And again, you can take this point, again, make sure you select the right point, and you just add here a nice shape. Perfect. So we have really beautiful shape here at the bottom. And you can do whatever you want. You can play a little bit around, but I think that's fine. And now what I told you, we have to create here first a flat surface. So before our curvature or the bending starts, so somewhere around here, we want to create a new curve. For that, we will select face mode, select this face, and now important command, press F, and search for isoparam, and I have it here on Control R. So put it, right click, add shortcut Control R, because you will use it all the time. Isoparam, and then we can add here another edge somewhere here. So we will just guess that a little bit. And now again control point curve, and with this point curve we can snap to this new edge and again drag out first on the y-axis. And now you can just search on this curve here the closest point. Right click, and you see you have a nice curve. So let's go to the top view and just press 1 and just adjust the curve so it's not too round, because this one is a little bit too round. So I will select this point, press G, and just bring this a little bit in so it's similar to the curve on the bottom, okay? Something like that, right click, perfect. And now we can start to create our first surface, and we want that by just lofting this edge with this curve, but you see this curve is way too long, and so we want to break it kind of here. So a simple way is if you select both curves and if you press Alt J, it's the unjoin command, because now you see this curve is cutted exactly where those curves are intersecting. And this is perfect because now you can just select this curve, shift click this curve, loft it, and shift click here. and this way you see you get a perfect surface. And here it's a G1, you see, and you can click through and you don't have any issues. It's because of the surface. And we have everywhere rounding. And we will need this later when we will mirror it over. So it's very important. Okay, right click. And once you have created the surface, you have to hide those curves because we don't want to use them anymore. We want to use the edge from the surface. So select both curves and just press H and perfect. Now let's do the same here at on the back. Again, select this curve first and hide it. And now the same, press 3 face mode, select this face, again Ctrl R or isoparam command, and just add a line somewhere here, and control point curve, snap here to this point, drag that out on the y-axis, create one point and then snap to this point, right click, go to the top view and just make sure that the curve, looks similar to the curve below. So maybe you can take this point, drag it a little bit down, something like that, and do the same. Press 2, select this curve, press L for loft, shift click here and shift click here. But obviously here it should be G0 because G0, like no smoothness, no continuity here. And yeah, G1 does not work obviously, so this has to be G0. Again, it's already taking a lot if you want to understand exactly what all that means. In my courses, before we start with the car, with the helmet, with the motorcycle, there are like a lot of practice and theory parts where I explain it to you. Or you can just go through my channel if you wanted to learn on your own. And my courses are for those who want it like structured. But yeah, anyway, so press 2, select this curve, hide it. Perfect. So you see we have two absolute perfect surfaces. And let's do the same here, right? Because you see again, we have here a straight section. So we want first to create here some straight curves before we go here into the curved things. So let's do the same, select 3 face mode, Ctrl R, isoparam, and let's do something like that. So add 2 more edges like that. And again, shift or here control point curve, snap to this point, drag it out on the y-axis, snap here on the closest, and do the same control point curve, snap here, drag it out on the y, and snap here to the closest. Something like that. And now from that view, press 1 and you can now adjust the points a little bit. But again, just left and right. So this one I will also, you see, so it just has the nice same curvature profile kind of, right? So this looks fine. And again, press 2. So now I'm a little bit quicker because it's exactly the same. But press 2, select all of those curves and Alt J to unjoin. Because if they are connected, then it will just unjoin them where they are intersecting. And again, select this one, loft, shift click, and we have a perfect, beautiful surface. Again, press 2, select those curves, press H to hide them. And I think that looks nice. But I think it's a little bit too round. So again, you can just fast forward, but I would just want to go a few steps back before I create the surface, because just for me, I just want to bring those points a little bit more inside. So we just have here a nice sharp line. So I don't want it that it's too round here at the end. So I just wanted a nice sharp curve here. And again, I will just loft it quickly, L, shift and shift, select both curves, hide it. Perfect. And this curve too, hide it. Now exactly the same here at the top. Again, first select this curve because it's in the middle. You have to press E and extrude this. With control click, you can just snap to the other point. Now we have a surface, so we have to hide the curve. So hide the curve. And now you can press 3 face mode, select this face. Again, isoparam or control R. And you can just snap to this point because then it will be the same distance at the top. So create a line here. Again, press 3, Control R, and just go here. So it's creating here at the top an edge. And now, so again, you could now create two curves because with the curve, you just can exactly create the shape as you want. Or you can also, in this example, press 2 and just loft those two edges because they are the exact same length. So this, in this case, it works and they are just both straight. So if you press L, give here G0, because again, you see if it's G1, it will give you the rounding of the curve below that, so tangency, but we don't want it because here it's a sharp corner, so G0. But we also want a little bit more curvature, so while you're on the loft, you can press D, and now with the mouse, just move a little bit and you can adjust a little bit the tension, right? So something like that should be fine and perfect, right? That looks beautiful. And if you like it so far, you can leave me a like on the video and subscribe so you don't miss my other tutorials if you find them helpful. And now let's close those shapes here. And because we worked super clear and clean, that shouldn't be a problem at all. So if you press 4, object mode, select all of those surfaces and press J because you have to first join them. And now press 2, edge mode, and let's just select those three edges here and just patch. So press F, and you have here the patch command. I have it on Shift 3. So just patch it and bam. And now just G1 and G1. So again, if you right click and if you hide the lines, voila guys, isn't that, I don't know, it's just so fun and beautiful. And yeah. Perfect. So let's select this curve, hide it, and do the same here. Press 2 with shift click, select those boundary edges, and again patch. So for me it's Shift 3, and again G1 and G1. Here it's G0 because sharp edge. Right click, and voila, guys! Look, it's, I don't know. I did that 1 million times already, but it's still satisfying. And we have this beautiful sharp edge, we have this beautiful smooth things, and yeah, but here it will be even nicer. So let's do that. And here you see we have already a section which is perfectly aligned already for a loft, right? So you see we have 4 boundary edges, so you can either patch it or loft it. But I will just use a loft. But before you do that, press 4, just select all of those surfaces and just press J. So and before you do that, you see we have here some separated surfaces. Press 4 for solid mode, select those edges here, surfaces, and just press J to join them. Because yeah, you will get less errors in the process. Perfect. So press 2, edge mode, and now let's just select this edge and just give it a nice juicy loft, and shift click here and shift click to that boundary curve, and voila guys, right click again. Isn't that absolutely beautiful? Look, no issues. It's just pure organic beauty. And I don't know, like I'm tooting here the handle's horn, but I don't know, I really like that. And again, select the curve here and hide it. Okay, and now there are a few things that you can do now. So again, first of all, select object mode and select all of those surfaces, press J. And first of all, let's close here this guy here at the top. So we also have at the top the surface. So just select it and just patch it and right click and select the curve, and perfect. So now you see we have here a perfect closed hole, as I call it, right? So we have a hole, but it is surrounded by edges. So you can try to just patch it, right? So you can also select all of those curves and patch it and give everywhere G1 where you want it. So everywhere here in the middle, and where we have, look guys, I don't know what this is so, oh my god, look, it's no X-nerves, it's nothing fancy, it's nothing crazy, you know. That's why I'm showing you this, because, you know, it's just patch, but because all of those surrounded surfaces and edges, they were constructed in a such thoughtful, perfect way, you can just like smash a massive patch on that and it's just working like magic, you know. It's, I don't know, it's absolutely incredible. No X-NURB, no square, no crazy things, and you can just export this later and just render, and your client is happy, you are happy, your dog is happy, all are happy, you know. So I don't know, that's just amazing. So again, so if this looks like that and you don't have any issues, perfect. And if you created everything correctly, the boundaries and stuff, then yeah, it should work. So the main shape is basically done for you. And again, if you like this technique and you just want to learn, yeah, a little bit more complex products like a helmet, power tools. So here I also have introduction about continuity, G1, G0, everything. And yeah, look at this helmet and many other courses. So I have this massive summer sale at the moment going on. And if you don't have this perfect result here, or even if it looks good for you right now, the next step that we will do, you should still follow along, because oftentimes it does not work in this way. So especially with the patch. So X-NURBS is even more powerful, but yeah, I just want to show you how to problem solve. So if this would not look perfect, then just press escape, because then the problem is that this whole hole is just too big and too complex, right? So what you want to do is then you have to try to break it down a little bit into 2 pieces or 3 pieces, and you can just do it by trial and error and just see what works. So what I mean, we can just create here another curve and fill first in this section. So our section here at the top will be smaller. So again, press 3, face mode, select this face, Control R or isoparam, and just press tab. So you just change the direction of this edge here. And I don't know, somewhere here should be fine. And on this supporting surface as well, Control R, isoparam, and just give it here on the same height, something like that. And now you can select this edge in edge mode and this edge, and with the bridge command, you can bridge those edges. But here you have G0 obviously, because again, we have here sharp edge, but here in the middle in the supportive surface, we just want G1, that's enough. And you see, we get this nice curve. So this is okay. And now again, you can just loft it. So start with those edges, for example, loft, and here again, G0 and shift. Here it's G0, G1 because it's smooth. Right click, let's hide our curve, and you see, beautiful. And again, press 4, select surfaces, press J to join them. And now you see our hole got a little bit smaller. So if you press 2 with shift click, you can select those boundaries and patch it once again. And again, give everywhere G1 where it needs to be smooth. So like that, and you see again, we have an absolute beautiful result. And obviously, yeah, you can adjust it even more and do it more perfect. But let's finish that up here. So now once you have your shape on the half, we have to go to this view and press 3 and just select those faces that we extruded in the middle, right? So select them from right to left and Shift X to delete them like that. And if you delete them, you also delete this thing at the top. So you can leave that, because if you select an object mode, if you select your thing here and you press Alt X and you mirror that over, right click. And if you hide the lines, you see we have everywhere perfect, beautiful smoothness. And yeah, the proportions are a little bit wrong. I see that now, but yeah, it's still correct. And now in object mode, select both surfaces, join them, press 2, Alt, click. So you select this loop and patch it again with G0. So we just close that. And now what you just can do, press 2, select here this hard edge and give it a nice, beautiful, sharp fillet. And also here at the top, but once you give here fillet, give it a caudal, so it's always the same distance. And yeah, you have an absolute beautiful piece. And again, summer sale if you want a structured way to learn more complex models. Check that out. First link below this video in the description. And yeah, it was a lot of fun for me. So leave a like and subscribe if you don't want to miss my next tutorials. Have a nice day. Bye.